In January 2020, there were around 4 trillion US dollars in circulation, but that did not create any serious inflation in the United States because most of that dollars were outside the United States. All of the banks across the globe keep a portion of their reserves in US dollars because it's the global currency reserve. But over the next 18 months, the Federal Reserve printed over $16 trillion and threw it into the economy to save the US economy from the pandemic that it faced. Think about that for a moment. Over 80% of all the US dollars that are not just in the United States, but across the globe, have been printed since 2020. Every dollar that the Fed throws into the economy devalues the existing dollars that are in the economy, which is why the Federal Reserve is very careful about the amount of money that it prints and throws into the economy because it knows that it devalues your savings. So what do you think is happening to your savings when the Federal Reserve increases the money supply by 4 times? The massive inflation that we have been experiencing in the last few years was a direct result of Fed's action. So a lot of people are wondering, does it make sense to even save money at this point when we look at the inflation numbers? Like in 2022, inflation was around 9%. This year, when we thought that inflation is coming down, it's still around 4%. On one side, we have people who are claiming that it doesn't make sense to hold cash at all because it's getting worthless due to high inflation. Do anything with your money, but don't keep cash at all. Buy crypto, buy assets, buy real estate, buy stocks, bonds, whatever. Just don't hold cash. Why? Because cash is getting worthless and we have no idea where the dollar is going to be in the next few years. On the other side, we have people who are saying that the US dollar is too powerful to be affected by any of these factors. The United States can print much more than $16 trillion and it won't affect the dollar at all because the US economy is so powerful that it can handle anything in the world. So let's try to figure out what exactly is happening here. And let me tell you why you should absolutely be saving money even though that we have such a high inflation. If you look at the world's largest companies, you'll find out that all of them are holding a lot of cash. Take a look at Apple. It was the world's largest company and now it lost that crown. But if you look at their cash reserves, they have $160 billion in cash. That's not like future estimates of revenue that the company might make sometime in the future. These are not valuation numbers. These are the amount of cash that Apple has in their bank accounts. So why on earth the world's largest company that has the best talent, the best accountants, the best people are saving so much money? And it's not just Apple. Take a look at Microsoft, the company that overthrew Apple as the world's largest company. They're also sitting at $120 billion of cash. When inflation is so high, Microsoft is holding that much cash in their bank accounts. And you can see that in every major company, not just in the United States, but across the globe. So while you're thinking about how to make your first $1 million, Tim Cook on the other side is thinking what on earth he should do with $160 billion of cash. If cash is worthless, why all of these companies are holding so much cash in the first place? Don't they see at the data? Don't they see that keeping that much cash in their bank accounts is making them lose billions of dollars every single year? Why don't they use that money to buy another company? Why don't they use that money to invest in any kind of project? Some people might say that these are just tech companies that are holding that much cash. No, it's not just tech companies. Take a look at Warren Buffett, the most successful investor of all time, is holding almost $170 billion. And Warren Buffett is the best person to understand what inflation really is. Why is he sitting on so much cash? And he has been sitting on that much cash over the last 12 months, which means that if he had invested that much money, he would have already made around $17 billion. Now, $17 billion is a lot of money. I mean, if you make $17 billion, you will automatically be one of the richest people on the planet. And yet Warren Buffett believes that it's much better to keep that much money in bank accounts instead of buying any kind of assets. So what exactly he knows that the rest of us don't? Let's find out. Well, saving money seems like a bad idea, and a lot of people criticize the dollar. A lot of people criticize the paper money. At the end of the day, it's the best tool to do business. Without paper money, there is no way you can pay your wages. There is no way you can grow your business. So if you don't have enough cash in the bank accounts for any kind of upcoming crisis, you will be focused on making money now. You'll be focused on short-term projects instead of planning long-term, instead of planning how you will take over the industry in the long run, which is why all of these companies are having so much cash in their bank accounts. And that's not just about the companies. Take a look at the wealthy people today. Most of the rich people are sitting on a lot of cash, waiting for the right opportunity. Whenever there are too many uncertainties about the world, people tend to come back to cash. When the situation is not stable, when people don't know what's going to happen in a few years from now, what do? Of course, they don't know whether they will be able to make money a few years from now. So it's better to save your money because you don't know whether you will be able to make revenue next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So it's better to be more conservative and keep that cash in the bank. And that's why all of these companies are holding so much cash. That is why so many rich people are holding so much cash. Despite the fact that inflation has gotten out of control slightly, it's still decent. The highest inflation we have experienced was around 9%. We did not even have 10%. Now, some people claim that inflation data is rigged. So let's assume for the sake of argument that inflation data is rigged. And it was not 9%, it was 12% or 13%. I mean, we had inflation 13% for a single year, and next year it was half of that, which is really not bad. Recent inflation data showed us that it was around 3.6%. Even if those numbers are rigged, let's say it's around 5%, it is slowing down. So we might not hit a 2% inflation target this year, but at this rate, we will certainly hit that target in the next year, or maybe by the end of the next year. When inflation gets out of control, that's exactly what happened in 2006 in Zimbabwe or Venezuela. When prices change every single day because money is getting devalued every single day. You came to buy a coffee today and it cost $10. By the end of the day or tomorrow, that coffee is going to cost you $10. A week from now, that coffee is going to cost you $50. That's not something that's happening in the United States. And the fact that the United States printed so many trillions of dollars and threw it into the economy, and that did not cause hyperinflation like in all of these countries, tell us a lot about how powerful the United States dollar is. If any other country in the world could have done that, they would be in trouble right now because they would certainly have hyperinflation. So if you zoom out and take a look at what's happening in the world, you see all kind of geopolitical changes in the world. We are seeing a change in the global world order. The US Senate, for example, just approved an aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. So there is a crisis happening in Europe where Russia is taking over the entire Ukraine. And if Russia ends up succeeding in their war in Ukraine over the next few years, Russia will have massive influence in Europe. If China is going to take over Taiwan, that will change the dynamic of the power, the balance of the power in Southeast Asia. We don't know what's going to happen in the Middle East. Just recently, like a week ago, we almost had like World War III because Iran and Israel almost had a direct war with each other. So because of these geopolitical changes across the globe, people are not certain about the future. People don't know what to expect, how business is going to be 5 years from now, which is why they're holding their cash. So that leads us to a very natural question. What exactly should you do with your money right now? Now, the biggest mistake that I see people make is that they have this fear of missing out. They look around and stocks are rising, crypto rising, gold have doubled in price in recent years. They should have invested that money and have made 100% return on their money. Now, let's assume that you're sitting on $100,000 and you look at inflation data and you see 4, 5, 6%, and you consciously understand that you're losing money. And you could be making money by investing that money in some kind of an asset such as stocks or crypto. But that's the problem. Just because there is an opportunity in the market does not mean that you going to the market, you will seize that opportunity and make money. Because I know that you open up social media and you see that this guy made $100,000. That guy made a few $1,000,000. The third guy made 1,000% return on his money. But there are a lot of people who also made investments, but they lost all of their money. So you only see the survival ones. That's called survivorship bias in psychology. So you don't want to repeat that mistake. You don't want to fall into the survivorship bias. You want to know that you're making the right investing decision. See, there is no problem in losing money in the stock market. There is no problem in making mistakes. We all make mistakes. When I started investing, I made a ton of mistakes. I lost a lot of money. But the problem when it comes to losing money when you invest is that it's much harder to get up. Let's say you had $100,000 and you invested that money and it ended up a bad investment. So you lost 50% of your money and now you have $50,000. Now, in order to get back to the exact same position that you have been before making that mistake, you have to make 100% on your investment. You have to make 100% on your $50,000 to get back to $100,000, and you will be in the exact same position that you started initially, which is why it's extremely important to be very wise when it comes to investing decisions. You should only invest in companies when you know for a fact that when you're confident 99% that you are going to make on this investment. And you're not making that investment because you saw somebody telling you on the internet to buy this stock or to buy that crypto. You're making that investment because you understand the logic behind it. You understand why this investment is going to grow. Remember back in 2020 when Tesla stock was growing through the roof and everyone was telling you that this is an opportunity of the decade. Look at where Tesla stock is right now. Now, I'm sure that there are plenty of people who made money on Tesla stock, but since then we had other companies, other stocks that grew by 1,000%. Look at what's happening in Nvidia right now. Now, if you have missed Nvidia, it's not a big deal. There will be another stock. There is going to be another crypto. There is going to be another opportunity. You should not rush. Do you know how many opportunities the world's richest people are missing? A lot. It's not about taking advantage out of every single opportunity that's out there. It's about being right once or twice or maybe 3 times at best. But to do that, you have to educate yourself. You have to learn how to analyze stocks, understand the fundamentals of the stock market, how to read financial statements, how to analyze financial statements, know how to look and where to look for such opportunities. And the only way to do that is when you self-educate yourself. And today is your lucky day because the first 100 people who will use the link in the description will get access to my course for free that will teach you the fundamentals of the stock market. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.